About this love. About this. About this love. About this love. Love.
Hey, this is Charel, and I'm sitting here with my husband, Dale, and you're listening to the About This Love podcast. So today, we're going to touch on the topic of trust issues.
Yeah, if you want to call it that. We were having a conversation with some friends. One of the I think topics that came up was, is it cool for your spouse to go through your cell phone? And we was like, we didn't really care. Like, man, I don't. My stance on that is that when it comes to my spouse and my children, my life is an open book. I don't have nothing to hide. I don't have any kind of inappropriate things in my cell phone. So when it comes to, to the cell phones and even just, I guess finances, like your spouse knowing how much money you actually make, like, is that okay? Over the years, I've heard folks talk about it, and their stance on the matter has always been, nah, she don't need to know how much money I make and what she need to go through my cell phone for, or what he need to go through my cell phone for. And that kind of, I guess, yeah, trust issues. But I guess my other question would be that I always ask, well, why am I with somebody if, one, I have to question whether or not I want to go through my phone, and if I don't want them to know how much money I make, then should I even be with that person?
I think that's a cultural norm, though. You've seen all the short videos and memes. It was around the time where the iPhones came out with the face recognition, and it was like the internet was going wild. It was like when you're sleeping and she tried to unlock your iPhone, and basically they take the phone and put it over the guy's face or whatever and unlock it or whatever. And then there was another meme circling online about, when you're in the bathroom and you realize you left your phone unlocked or whatever, and then you're running to the door trying to get your phone or whatever.
Well, I'm gonna ask a question that my father in the faith always asks. AJ always asks, where's that coming from?
Well, you know where that's coming from. People have trust issues. I want to go back to an example that I had before I met you, and when I first started on my journey of knowing that I actually wanted to be married and I wanted to journey into being a wife and things like that. I used to tell people, in the shop, I would tell my clients, older clients when I was asking them about marriage and things like that, I would say if I was to get married, I might not live with my spouse for the first couple of years until I trust them. And someone asked me well, why would you get married if you don't trust them? And of course that was I would trust them, but not really like that but that was a place, coming from a place of fear. It was almost like I'm 1 foot in, but 1 foot out. So if it don't work out, then, well, I already got my own place. We could just call it quits or whatever. I guess in my mind, it was almost to still have something going on the back burner. So you think about people who don't give access to the phone to their girlfriend or boyfriends of their phones or their emails or what have you, or bank accounts. And it's almost well, yeah, because I have other things going on. I'm still texting the ex. We just friends though, but they're entertaining, these other people.
I feel you.
I don't know what you entertaining with your bank account, maybe gambling or whatever, but you're entertaining something that you don't want your spouse to know about.
Yeah, that could be that could very well be one of it. And when me personally, because I watch a lot of YouTube shows, and oftentimes that is one of the things that come up, is that they don't want the spouse to know, or the girlfriend to know, go through their phone. But again, a lot of that is coming from what? It's coming from a place of, mischief or deceitfulness. It's yeah, I'm already texting this little junk, and I don't want you, and she sent me pictures. I don't want you seeing that joint. I know, there's actually apps out now called Locker, like app lockers. It's where you could put
You promoting the app locker?
You could put another app in the app, and it locks it. And it won't even show up as it even being an app that's even in the phone. Now, I know I use it because I put my PayPal or my bank in those in an app locker, so that somebody finds my phone, they can't actually get access to that stuff because it's sensitive information. So that's why I like them. But I don't have them to hide nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's very sensitive information that I would like to use, that I use it for. But far as me hiding a little secondary text message that I'm texting, side texting somebody else, or I'm or getting pictures for somebody else, nah, I just don't find a need for that stuff, and I don't find a need to lock my phone from my wife. Since we've been married, we've never never like, it's actually, I think it's actually funny because like when we go out and spend time with your family, like when they see us grab each other's phones and we put our finger and it opens it, they're like, oh man, wow. And I remember one time, I was at one of your family members' houses and I had your phone. So someone was like, is that Charel's phone? I was like, yeah, I think my phone was dying. I was just like surfing the web or whatever, but it wasn't like, but it was like, that was so foreign to them to see like me in your phone and knowing that that's Charel's phone. Why is he in Charel's phone for? I'm like, I'm just surfing the web watching YouTube videos because my phone was dying. It wasn't like, I'm not looking for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Even if I was, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? That's my wife. And I feel as if my wife's life should be an open book for me. And I feel like my life should be an open book for her as well. I feel like there's no, like we always, it's one thing we always say in our marriage, and that's, there's no secrets. You know, there's no room for something to be hidden from each other. Because I feel like that's how you kind of invite mishaps in your marriage, when you allow there to be secrets between each other. Now, if you got a surprise, you're trying to surprise your spouse, that's different.
Wait, hold on. You have to give clarity to surprises. Yeah, it's gonna be a surprise. I'm gonna surprise my spouse with a whole baby, a birthday or whole side chick.
I mean, you know so much,
I know. I'm just messing around,
or like a trip or something, a secret trip. So I mean, when you talk about the whole phone issue in relationships, I think that when people do that, you know, yes, they do have something to hide. I mean, I think that 100% of the time they have something to hide. Because if you don't have nothing, if you have nothing to hide, why do you actually care to go through those kind of lengths to hide your phone? It's kind of like I remember a few times in my past when I got put over by the police. Man, I was terrified because I knew, you know, we were doing dirt, had some stuff in the car that we didn't have. But now that I'm older, I don't care if I get pulled over by a cop. I could care less. I ain't nothing to hide. I ain't got no gun on me. I don't have any drugs on me. I don't care. Pull me over. Search my car. Yeah, go ahead. I don't care because I have nothing to hide. So why do I care? Mm-hmm. That's my point. If you have nothing to hide, why do you actually care? Because you're trying to hide something. That's why.
I mean, but also too, there's so many different apps and video chat like applications and things where you can just call people and talk to people. Like I talk to my family all day on all types of different apps. So like
literally all day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, with the quarantine and everyone staying home, I do talk to them.
Even before that, all day.
Nah, before that, it's probably like half the day. It wasn't all day. But either way, I'm saying like if someone wanted to do dirt, they're going to do dirt. Like I remember back in the day, the biggest thing before like, I guess the price of these cell phones, people who had 2 cell phones, they would get like a burner phone.
They still got 2 cell phones. What are you talking about?
Oh.
They still got 2 cell phones.
Well, nah, that's their work phone. Their work phone. I'm doing air quotes.
It's work, all right. They put in work somewhere.
All right, Dale. You on joke time.
They put in work somewhere. They put in some work, all right.
Well, no, I mean, but you know, it's like they would do it anyway. Let's say that you were to have your phone unlocked to me, or well, you do have. I'm not giving the example of let's say, but you do have your phone unlocked to me, and my phone is unlocked to you. There still has to be a level of awareness though. You can't just think that someone is, you know, like, oh yeah, like we're an open book. Like I don't need to check their phone because I know, you know, I mean, if you feel an inkling in your spirit to like check on your spouse, then check on your spouse. If you feel like there was a lie, you know, that was told about something, then go and check. And then you may have to be checking in every now and again. You know, it was something you said in a previous podcast where it was like, nothing could keep you from doing what you want to do but God. And it's almost like, even if you was like sitting right beside them, like, or going to work with your spouse and coming home with your spouse, and when you go to the bathroom, you could find time to cheat. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone could find time to like, you laughing, but...
Is she in there? Is that B in there?
Oh, God.
Is she in there? Like, yo, if she in the bathroom, then she's a keeper.
I mean...
Because she's dedicated. Is she in the bathroom?
She's not a keeper because she's a homewrecker. She's not a keeper. What type of...
I'm being sarcastic.
All right.
I was talking about like if you in the bathroom taking a dump and she in that joint, yo, she's a keeper.
Ew. Oh my gosh, that's gross.
She's a keeper.
Well, I mean, but either way, it's like somebody is going to find time if that's what's in their heart to do. The second they turn their back, you know, and it's not as though you know what's on their mind. But I think, you know, if you're in tune to the Holy Spirit, you're married to this person, or even if you're not married, you're courting them to like go to the next step. You think that you're building something with them, like check in. And not only checking with the person, but I think checking with the Lord. There was this lady I used to listen to like some years back. I forget her name, but she spoke about, you know, her marriage. If I didn't listen to all of her like speakings, her podcast, I wouldn't have known like, her character or her husband's character. I wouldn't have gotten a sense of their character before hearing when she made this statement. One time she said, it almost came across as if she didn't trust her husband. I'm just going to put it that way. And I'm just like, wow, these are people of faith and she don't trust her husband because, we have that misbelief that like, oh yeah, well, you guys are going to church or you guys believe in the Lord. So everything is all good. Everything is, Dale, you making a face like, yeah, right.
I was thinking myself, who got that assumption? I don't got that assumption.
Dale.
Those doing the most dirt. You can speak for yourself. Don't speak for me. I don't have that assumption at all.
Dale, people do have that assumption. Even if you don't have it, people have it. I've had it at one point. People think they see you going to church every Sunday and they see you looking good. You got the new car shining. You got your 3-piece suit on. You guys holding hands in every picture. They think that things are going good. They think that, that person is so in love. I want to be like that couple because they're just so in love. See, look, they posted another picture. They're kissing. They're on a date. And, lo and behold, like the man stepping out. Like we've seen on the shows. What's that show that you made me watch? What is it? Greenleaf. You've seen on the show where it's like people are looking
Which man? Because
I'm not saying a character specifically, but I'm saying you see the deception and you see how people on the outside believe that on the outside looking in, everything's looking real good. You know what I'm saying? They feel as though because they're people of faith that, things look great and things are going good for them. And because they believe in, oh, look, they're praying together and they're, prophesying and like healing people. And that's so great. And they don't go through anything and they don't have issues, but it's not true. People struggle with everything. And kind of going back to your statement from a previous podcast episode, nothing but God can, keep you from doing those things. Going back to, mentioning your statement and then going back to the woman that I was listening to by me saying, I was shocked when she was just talking about her checking in with the Lord about her husband and her prayer time. And I was like, well, why would she have to do that if he's a man of God? Why would she have to check in and pray over her husband?
Because people are human beings. That's why.
Exactly. That's my whole point of bringing that up. People are human. And really, whether or not I go through your phone, you go through my phone, we still have to check things that are on each other's heart and then also check in with the Lord. Like, okay, I was sensing something in the spirit with my husband. Is he struggling with that? Or, or even if you felt like I was struggling with something, you brought it to my attention. I got a little defensive about it. And then it's almost like, you know what? In my prayer time, I need to go and pray for my wife. There's one thing that I said at the beginning of this year, kind of going back to my vision board video. I said that I wanted to be a better wife. Now, what that looked like for me, I wanted to be more prayerful and watchful over you, like over my husband, over the household, just wifely duties. That's a part of wifely duties. You know what I'm saying? Just because there's,
So are you watching and praying for the cell phone?
I'm watching. Look, the whole situation. If that's what the Lord has put on my heart to watch and pray for, then I'm watching and praying for the cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is that the Lord has put on my heart to watch and pray for. Because in the same way that you're human and other people are human and they can turn their back as open as people may want to be, as soon as they turn their back and, find a moment to, get into mischief, get into trouble, get into things that they don't need to be tapping into and bringing that into their home, into their relationships. It's like, and you say that they're human. I'm human as well. They're human. Like the other spouse is human as well. And they just don't know. They, their concerns and stress levels may be different than the other person's, that they're in a relationship with. And so it's almost like without that checking in with the Lord, it's like it could completely miss them as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. To me, it's just kind of wild. It's wild because I just know me. Like I'm a very inquisitive person and I'm a very practical person, and I understand that everyone's not like me. I understand that. I know that. I accept that. But for me, from a logical standpoint, why would I want to be with somebody if they do not want me to know how much money they make? Why would I want to be with somebody if anytime I want to, I can't go through your cell phone or if it'll be a problem? That's just a question that I asked myself. And I said that because it's like, well, wouldn't it have been nice to know that before you got with the person? Whether or not if it was cool if you checked their cell phone? Maybe it was in the beginning.
This is going to sound terrible, but I know someone who felt like it wasn't important before they got married to share certain information.
What's their name? I don't know who it is.
Yeah, I bet you
I'm
do.
joking.
You like blasting people.
I'm joking.
Like, I know someone who didn't feel like it was important to let them know that they had a whole baby because they weren't married. So then they finally get married and it's like, yeah, and by the way, I have this like 10-year-old child. Like, and not to say that
That's the other person's fault, though.
what to continue on.
Nah, because I mean, I feel like in most cases, and I'm probably wrong for saying this, but in most cases, I feel like people are only going to answer the questions that you ask. If you don't ask, then they're not going to tell you.
But
so
what
I'm
if
going to
they
ask: do you have any other children that I should know about, or do you have any other children I would like to know? If you have any other children, you know, this is a question you probably should ask, and which goes back to one of our old podcasts. People get into relationships with people, they don't ask enough questions.
Yeah, that's true. They don't ask enough questions because they're so in love. And it's almost like when it's feeling good, like when our chemistry, our connection is just feeling good because we're like just lusting after each other and we want to hurry up and start a family. It's like, oh, I don't care. We'll just get through it because like you feeling what I'm feeling. And it's like, yeah. Like, you know, like a child. One thing my mom used to do to me when we were younger, she'll be like, you know, we'll be outside playing all day and we'll come in and I'll be like, oh my gosh, mommy, like I want to do this and let's do that and blah, blah, blah. You know, just all amped up off of being a kid and having all this energy. And she's like, you itching, ain't you, right? You're itching and you're like, I'm itching. Yeah. And then she'll be like, well, go shower and take a nap. Oh, they'll get rid of my itching? Yeah. And I feel like when you're in a relationship with someone,
So you was taking the shower when you relationship helps.
No, but I give that
joking.
example. That's what it reminded me of. Like when you're like so high up off your like lust for one another, it's like we're gonna get through everything together, right? Yeah, we are. Yes, it's gonna be so great, and we're gonna fight battles. And I mean, you cut off your exes, right? Yeah. Well, I cut off mine too, and the rest we'll just find out when we find out. And then it's like, well, you didn't know that this person was going to jail in like 6 months or whatever after the wedding kind of thing. Because it's like, well, we'll find out. Like, forget the rest. It's us against the world. And I didn't even ask about what may be taking place in our world. Like, I didn't even ask about, hey, what are some things that you're dealing with? What are some things that, you know, it's just love without responsibility. And really,
love without responsibility isn't love at all.
I was about to say that, Dale. It's not love. But, you know, we're very irresponsible beings. We're irresponsible people, especially when we hadn't taken the time with a sober mind, we hadn't taken the time to actually think things through. It goes back to our previous podcast, which you said about building a house.
Yeah.
You know, you're not considering the cost before building the house.
It's funny because the other day I was watching a video from the guy. I don't know his name. The guy who did the karate video where the guy was crying, where the little kid was crying. He was like, "It's okay to cry." He was like, "It's okay to cry," because I think they were doing karate. And he was, I forget what they were, what was going on specifically. I was watching a video of that same guy. I didn't know he was I guess a motivational speaker or a pastor or something. But one of the things that he said in his video on Instagram, he was like, "We live in a society where we're not raising young men and women to be critical thinkers." And he was like, because he was talking to a group of young guys about having a girlfriend. He was like, "Oh, so that's your girlfriend?" He was like, "Yeah, And they were like 9, 10 years old. And he was like, "So what's a girlfriend?" And it was like, "Well, you know." And he was like, "Well, according to the Bible, there ain't no girlfriend." He was like, that's not biblical. He was like, that's of this world. And making a long story short, what he was telling them was that, you know, you are in a world where people do not have the ability, or they don't exercise the ability to be critical thinkers. And he was like, before you go and mess with a woman, before you even know if you want to marry her or not, be critical. Ask questions, like engage her, engage yourself. What do you want out of life? What does she want out of life? Does she believe in God? Do you believe in God? He was like, get into the mindset of being a critical thinker, because you are living in a world where people do not think. They just do. They just act on impulse. You know, I'm horny. She's horny. We're going to have sex. You know, I'm going to go out tonight and have fun. I'm going to get drunk and pop some mollies. It's like, there's no thinking about it. Like, well, he pissed me off. I'm going to shoot him and all his friends. It's like, it's no thinking about, well, if I do this, what happens next? So, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why I am the way I am. My mother made us critical thinkers. Like, think. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that for? What's the purpose of you doing that? What's going to happen when you do that? It's like asking questions, like being a critical thinker, not doing something because it feels good or you want to do that. That's fine. Like, if you want to do something, that's cool. Do it. But at least understand why you're doing it and understand the repercussions of what happens if you do it. And that's not good. That's not bad or good, just per se. It's just, consequences can be good or bad, I married my wife. What's the consequence of that? Consequences of having a woman for the rest of your life and having a house full of kids, consequences.
Oh God!
Nah, sorry, it's off a Key and Peele episode. Reference. Consequences.
But if y'all don't watch it and you feel like it's lame, then that's okay too.
That's funny. I might actually link the
don't link it.
Don't
episode. Link it.
Consequences.
Oh God.
But just going back to our initial question. And I mean, is it okay? Like, are you okay with, your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend going through your phone? And if not, why? What do you have to hide? Do you know how much your spouse make? Like, I mean, have you actually seen their check stub or I mean, not that it matters. It was like my wife, and me and my wife, when we got married, even before we got married, I remember sometimes I would let you use my debit credit card. Mm-hmm. But it's again, that's just me. And I'm a firm believer, that as people of God, our life should be open books. Jesus Christ didn't hide anything. The people of God didn't hide anything. They were open books for people to see and to be out on display. I had nothing to hide for my wife. I had nothing to hide for my children. Now, it's some things that may be inappropriate for my children, so I don't let them see because of their age and they can't, decipher whatever. But that's different. But as far as me displaying certain things to my children, my wife, I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide, So what reason would you have for having a problem with someone not being able to see your cell phone, with them not knowing how much money you make if you call this person spouse, or if you love this person? I don't really understand that. I mean, I'm not going to judge you, for the stance you take on it, but I'm just saying, me personally, I don't understand that. Especially if you're telling me, well, I have nothing to hide. For those who might be like, well, he or she doesn't need to know how much money I make, then why even be with the person then? If you're afraid that someone is going to use how much you make or, your salary against you, then why even be with that person? That's just how my mind functions. That's how my mind thinks. Just me being a critical thinker and asking questions like that. Do I want to be with somebody who might use what I make, against me? And do I want to be with somebody that may have a problem with me going through their phone anytime I want to? You want to go through my phone? Here you go. It's yours. Go through it. I don't even need to know why you're going through it. There's nothing in there that I need to hide. So hey, go through it. I don't care.
Well, I think also too, while you were setting up the question and as you were going through it, and your reason as to why, the one thing I thought about was also for our listeners, are you afraid of being vulnerable? Are you afraid of being vulnerable with your spouse?
I got a question for that too, but...
You got a question for that too?
Well, not a question, but okay. Well, I think I said this to you a long time ago. I was like, well, again, the way I think, the way I process things. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that, and get this right, you're telling me that you feel comfortable enough to lay with somebody naked, sleep with them, but yet you don't feel comfortable enough to, go through your phone or let them know how much money you make. It's like to me,
what's on your mind?
Yeah. To me, that's backwards. To me, it just speaks to a level of non-reality. To me, that's not reality. I mean, I know it's reality for a lot of people, but I'm saying for me, that doesn't make sense to me. For me to be able to lay down with a person, I would first need to know them, and, and to feel comfortable with them, and for one, know that they don't have any kind of disease or anything like that.
Yeah,
that's one. But I know we live in a world where that's not realistic.
Well, they put things in place, they got contracts and, y'all get tested or show me your test papers or whatever. They in the world, they try to have these things put in place to cover themselves. A false sense of protection, yeah, to protect themselves, so to speak. But still, I mean, not even that. Think about some friendships that we've had, just friendships, not even people that you want to sleep with or whatever, just friendships that we've had. And it's almost like, you're my friend and I thought that we're close and I tell you everything, why are you like, what's going on here? Like, why every time I ask you about this and that, like it's a whole blow up, you know what I'm saying? And then you retreat, you like remove yourself. Like, what is it that you have to hide? And
a whole lot.
Yeah, a whole lot. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think people don't even, they're afraid of themselves on top of that.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, sometimes I overthink things and I'm like, oh my gosh, if you ever went through my phone, like you might think the things that I talk about or text, to my friends and family are dumb. You might think that my thoughts are like dumb or whatever.
I mean, as long as you ain't got no chicken, nobody to do this with a six pack. I mean, I don't care.
No, but what I'm saying,
you text dumb stuff. It ain't gonna do.
But what I'm saying is the most vulnerable parts of like me. That's a scary thing that I'm just exposing myself. I'm exposing myself to you, to my friends, to people who say that they love me, things like that. So I think that might be a reason. But you guys listening, we would want to know, like, what is your stance on privacy or trusting your boyfriend, girlfriend, or spouse with, I guess your most prized possession, which right now would be like the cell phone, right?
It should be your heart, but
I mean, yes, but ultimately your heart, yes. Ultimately,
I mean, your heart is first.
Yes, your heart is first, Dale. You're absolutely right. You are. But remember, the cell phone, people are glued to their cell phones. They do everything. That's like their lifeline. So yes, their cell phone and their heart. Like, are you open or are you not open to having, your person basically like, seeing those things on your cell phone and on your heart?
So thank you guys for tuning in about this love. As always, you can ingest our podcast on Facebook videos, Instagram, Audio Mac, and YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.